Open your mind's door to J-Snip 4. Open your mind's door to J-Snip 4. American dream, relocated to Tennessee. Now he's on 10 acres, GMO free. Planting info seeds in the minds of the sheep.
You know, it's really interesting and actually very funny, you know, hilarious actually. Turn on the news, it may even be newspapers, doesn't matter. You can go to the major, you know, whether it's the Washington Post, New York Times, Fox News, CNN, all that, you know, all of it. All I keep hearing about is stock market back in record territory. Back in record high territory. We've gone up 8 straight days in a row. Dow Jones Industrial looking great, blah, blah, blah. Well, if it just hit the recent highs, finally, since 2007, which was the high, that's, you know, technically almost 6 years later because, you know, 2007, I know we just hit 2013, but it's roughly six years later. It's back where it left off. So for the last 6 years, you had to wait if you were invested, whether it was a 401k or whatever the hell was in, basically the stock market, to really do anything. To go back to where it left off. 6 years. And all I hear about is this is like the greatest news on earth, yet no one's saying, but our debt is $17 trillion roughly now. Unfunded liabilities now in sequester. Sequester is kicked in, you know, that nonsense. And the White House talks about, oh, we're stopping the little kiddies from going on tour at the White House because of the sequester. Not enough money. We got to cut. While simultaneously sending $25 million over to the rebels in Syria. Shh, shh. I wasn't supposed to say that. Shh. That doesn't count. Do you think $25 million would pay for children and tourists or whatever to go to the White House for the next 25 years? I mean, do you really think it costs $1 million a year just to allow people to come inside the White House and tour it? Don't think so. Because you know they're charging probably for that too. And even if they aren't, again, you could pull that off for $1 million a year, I'm sure. So we got 25 years worth of tours going on at the White House if we would have kept that money here at home instead of giving it to a rebel force against a legitimate government. That is an act of war. No one here cares. Doesn't matter. So, anyways, back on the stock market thing. 7 years to go back to where it was. Or 6 years. What was gold and silver 6 years ago? Just curious, including all the manipulation of price pressures downward that the elite have put on the prices of precious metals, gold and silver. Including that. What was the price 6 years ago? Well, 2007, I can tell you with certainty that it was around $13 to $14. And today, again, with the continual barrage of manipulation slamming gold and silver markets, the gold and silver markets, especially silver, but gold's been hit pretty hard too. Silver was $13 to $14 an ounce, basically 2007. Go ahead and look it up. I haven't even looked at a chart going back that far in so long I can't even tell you. But I remember, because I study these things, that it is somewhere around $13 to $14 an ounce back in 2007. So if that's the case, and it is the case, and today with the massive manipulation taking place, pushing the price down at $30 silver, it has more than doubled in 6 years' time. Why isn't that in the news? Why isn't that on MSNBC? Why isn't Fox News talking about that all day long? Because all damn day long, when we're fixing up this restaurant, one TV's playing one thing, and sometimes we have another TV. My boss likes to have Fox News on for some reason, but whatever, it's on, so I'm hearing it. You know, I can hear it, the thing talking. So I'm hearing this nonsense, obviously, from Fox News. And, you know, throughout the day, they talk about the same stories. They just repeat it. Goes to commercial break. They start talking about something else, and they repeat the other story they were talking about earlier. You know, whatever it is. In this case, the stock market's in record territory. You're going to hear that 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day if you leave Fox News on. And I haven't heard the word gold or silver out of Fox News' mouth. Anybody on Fox News saying, hey, record territory for gold and silver, basically, considering what it was 6 years ago. You know, silver was $13, $14, now it's $30. Gold, I'm not sure where it was in 2007, but it was probably lower than $800. It was less than $800, I'm pretty sure of that in 2007. So it also has doubled, essentially, at today's prices. More than doubled, slightly, just like silver has more than doubled. And then you take into consideration what gold did, $1,900, and what silver did, $50. That was fantastic. The stock market didn't do that and then come down. But gold and silver did, even though it came down. So even though these low prices of $30 silver and, you know, $1,600 gold, they are still massively superior to these paper assets, as I hate to use that word asset, because a piece of paper is not an asset. You can wipe your asset with it, but it is not an asset. It's a piece of paper that claims ownership to nonsense. Whereas a physical object in your hand like gold and silver that has a true value that can never go to zero because it's mined out of the ground, and if that's the case, no one's going to work for free. It can't go to zero. That is something of value. It stores value. And if you just looked at it at that perspective to say, I just want to store value for me over my lifetime, I'm going to invest in it. If you would have had that mindset, you'd be doing not only exactly what you wanted, you would be doing 1,000 times basically above and beyond what you wanted, because not only is it storing value, the value has gone up massively over the last 6 years, with the manipulation included pushing the prices down. So with that force pushing on it, and it still can do that, why are people still unsure of getting gold and silver? And I will say this, lately, very recently, again with the TVs on, I've been hearing more commercials about silver than I've ever heard of or seen on TV, targeting specifically silver. I've always seen the gold commercials, and I'm not talking about, you know, we buy gold, ship us gold, those commercials. I'm talking about, you know, Merit, Gold Line, these guys, you know, the big guys on TV pushing to sell gold, you know, physical gold. Those types of commercials. But now I've seen one, I wish I remembered how it went or whatever, I'd tell you what to look for, but now I'm seeing silver, and it talks about the silver eagles and the unprecedented demand and the current market analysis of where, you know, the demand's going to be in the next, you know, 5 or 10 years and this and that. And I'm here to tell you those numbers are probably low, because more and more people are catching on that gold and silver is real money. So that outlook they have is probably on the low side of what the demand's going to be. Even so, it's worth getting it now. So you cannot compare gold and silver to the stock market. Can't do it. Not going to happen. And all these clowns on TV are just selling you a bill of crap goods. You can look back. Greg Manarino, my buddy online, Greg Manarino, he did a video a little while back, I'm going to say 2 or 3 months ago, and it was about, let's see, he was talking about the, man, what the hell, I kind of lost my train of thought here. Gotta get over it. Give me a second. Greg Manarino did a video. Ah, man, I done lost my train of thought. It was a really good video too, where he showed some statistics on something I wanted to mention to you. I'm gonna sit here for a second because I know I'm gonna stop doing this and then all of a sudden it's gonna pop back in my head. Oh, the stock market back in the during the Great Depression, right before the Great Depression kicked in. right before that happened, all of the, again, we didn't really have TV news going on back then, but they did have lots of newspapers. And the newspapers were all talking about how great the stock market was looking. The stock market's up, you know, there's no end in sight. The same crap we've been hearing recently in recent times, including right now with these record highs for the stock market. And then in a matter of a week or two later, basically days later, the big stock market collapse took place. So what about that? What about all this crap back then that you would have been listening to if you were reading, if you would have read the newspapers? You'd have said, how the hell did this just happen? I mean, the stock market's in record territory, it's doing fantastic, and it just collapsed out of nowhere. Everybody is saying it was fine, everywhere, it was great, and all of a sudden it just collapsed. So do not be surprised. And I don't care if we see a Dow 20,000, it is still not, even at Dow 20,000, it's still not gold and silver where they are today. And if the Dow's 20,000, if that day comes, where do you suppose gold and silver will ultimately be too at that time? So anyways, if you have any thought, inkling of not wanting to get silver or gold in your mind, I hope I just changed that for you. I didn't have to tell you what I think or what my opinion is. I just gave you nothing but pure facts. You can go look it up yourself. So, wanted to share that with you. I'm on my way home. Take care.